How the narcissist continues to get worse. Think about that for a minute. So you're learning that the narcissist continues to deteriorate. You're also learning that they get worse over time. You're also beginning to understand that there's not one thing you could do to change them. Very big pills to swallow, but it's all true. Stay with the video till the very end and I will unpack more nuggets of wisdom for you. But not until the end of this video, because the narcissist clearly is getting worse. Not only the one you're considering, but all over this planet. They are all becoming unraveled. Every single one of them. It doesn't matter how young they are or how old they are. They're realizing that their time is up. Yes, hashtag time's up. Narcissist disappear. The light is shining too bright. The light is shining brighter than ever. And I will tell you, it will shine brighter in 5 seconds than it did 5 seconds ago. You see, you can't put the toothpaste back in the tube. You can't put the genie back in the bottle. You can't unsee what you've seen. Now you know so much more about humanity. You know about empathy. You know about narcissism. You know about mindset. You know about the abilities or capabilities of one person who turned out to be toxic and how they could mentally maneuver and trap you and redirect your energy into where they wanted it going. This is what the narcissist does. They do want to live in your mind rent-free. And truth of the matter is they do. Until when? Until they don't. And that's when you finally get the message. You see, you could do whatever you wanted to. You could give them 1,000 chances. You could send them all the money that you have. You could be their emotional support system. You could give them rides to the airport. You could pick them up from work. You could cook. You could clean. You could take care of the dog that they brought home strangely one day, not once, twice, but 3 times when you weren't even told about it. Yeah, true stories, all of them. But it wouldn't matter, because what you were when you were with the narcissist, you were what is known as built-in supply. Built-in supply is going nowhere, and the narcissist knows that, which is why, what is the wedding to the narcissist? The wedding is nothing but one big source of supply. You were on the stage with the narcissist, but you weren't being celebrated by the narcissist. You were being looked at as a human piñata. Once the ring was on their finger and yours, you probably were super excited and happy, like, oh my gosh, this is great. I finally found somebody. We're going to live happily ever after. Well, that's what you were supposed to think, specifically based on all of the Walt Disney-esque movies you had seen and all the romantic movies you had seen and all of the other people's lives experiences that you thought were accurate, that you had paid attention to. That's not what the narcissist was thinking. What they were thinking was, wow, now I have a huge audience to solidify the fact that I love this person and I don't. Now I have a huge audience that is here supplying support for me. Notice I said supplying support for me, and I don't care about any of these people. This is what the narcissist is thinking. And they also said to themselves, yep, now I've got a license to abuse the person, which probably was you. Now this is why the narcissist, once they get what they want, not only do they not want it any longer, but they punish that person. And if you married the narcissist, you know what I'm talking about. Not only is it accurate and true, but it just keeps on going on and on and on, because perhaps the narcissist you're considering, maybe they're on husband or wife number 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, I don't know. And no, I'm not saying that everyone that gets married more than one time is a narcissist, anything but. What I'm saying is how the narcissist is continuing to deteriorate, why they're all falling apart, why they can't find supply the way they used to. It's because in this day and age, when we are more than halfway through the year, and you know what year it is, the narcissist is literally scrambling. I will say the narcissists, plural. They're scrambling to find supply sources. They can't just snap their fingers and they have 5, 10, 15 people dropping whatever they were doing to accommodate the narcissist. Those days are long over. And I'll tell you something, they're never coming back. Think about it. You're different than you were 4 minutes and 44 seconds ago. I'm different than I was 4 minutes, 44 seconds ago. What is the narcissist? They're stuck in that loop, just going around and around and around in that loop of misery, in the loop of manipulation, in the loop of toxicity. And they're looking to get people captured in that loop as another spoke on the wheel of toxicity. Well, you're not going to partake in that any longer, because my hope is you've gone no contact. You blocked that person, deleted them, removed them and all flying monkeys and people associated with them. If you've done that, you know it served you very well. If you haven't, you need to ask yourself what you're waiting for. If you've identified that someone's toxic, maybe even narcissistic, and you don't have to be around them, you need to ask yourself, why are you around them then? Having said those things, this is why it all falls apart for the narcissist, because they can't sustain the mask, they can't sustain the false narrative, they can't sustain your happiness, your abundance, your authenticity, your empathy, your love. They want to steal that, and they want to crush it and crumble it up like a sheet of paper, and they want to chew it up and spit it out, wash, rinse, repeat. That's what a discard is. But they couldn't do it with you, and believe me, they tried. They tried their damnedest to knock you down for the count. You, when you first met the narcissist, as far as they were concerned, you were a fresh battery or a new source of supply. Let's say that your battery had 100% charge to it. Well, this is because you didn't know about narcissism. They did. They inserted you and removed the new supply or the old supply and discarded them and threw you in their place. You didn't know any of these things. Then what happened? Over time, your 100% battery got depleted down to 80%. 80 went down to 60, 60 down to 40, 40 down to 20. Next thing you know, you were on fumes. You had, let's say, less than 5% of your battery left. What did the narcissist do? They looked at you and said, wait, can't have this. I don't have a person standing at attention. I don't have a person waiting on me hand and foot. I don't have a person that I can punish and abuse and that I can control their emotions, steal their time, mismanage their money, misdirect their money, and mislead them. This person they're not putting up a fight. They're not doing anything. What do I need to do? Oh, I remember. I will turn back to the Narcissist Playbook, page 666, and I'll remember what to do. Then they do that move. They go to the last page of the book and they say, oh, that's right, time to discard. I remember. Okay. Then they discard somebody. And then what do? They look for a new battery. They look for a new fuel source. But the fuel sources are fewer and further between these days and every day going forward for the narcissist. And they know this. Their days are numbered. Their luck has run out. Their control of the planet is about to come to a screeching halt or an abrupt ending, however you want to call it. But it's not just the person you're considering. Think about this. I'm going to put everything on narcissism to the side for one quick moment. Think about you living your life. In the past, let's say, year, 6 months, maybe a little bit longer, have you seen people that you have never even met? I'm referring not to the narcissist. I'm referring to complete strangers. Have you seen them become unhinged? Perhaps in the grocery store, maybe in traffic, which you've seen before, maybe on an airplane, probably seen it before, maybe in a school setting, maybe at a park, maybe when you were at work. You've seen more and more strange behaviors. And let's just say, I will use my timeline. I will say since, let's say 5 years ago, you could probably be, it depends on when you healed, but I'll use 5 years. You've seen a lot of strange behaviors, right? But probably more and more recently. Meaning, let's say, example, in the last week, have you seen some strange things? You probably have. Now, you may say, are you planting seeds, Andrew? No, I'm not planting a seed at all. I'm calling out what you're seeing, and I'm giving you an explanation for it. It's because more and more people all over this planet, no matter who they are, and I'm not talking about the empath, and I'm not talking about the educated empath, and I'm not talking about people that are healing from narcissism. I'm talking about other people. They're becoming unhinged. They're throwing adult temper tantrums. They are not getting what they want. Things aren't going their way, and they don't know what to do about it. So I want to pause here for a moment. I am not saying that everyone's the narcissist. I already shared this with you a few moments ago. I said I'm putting narcissism on the side for this part of the video. So you need to remember that. I'm referring to people that you don't know. Now, could those people be narcissists? Absolutely. Is everybody the narcissist? Not even close. But you're seeing strange behaviors. Why? Because the energetic shift of this planet is taking force and taking place. And we are smack dab in the middle of it, whether you know it or not. You may think it's been underway for years. Maybe you're right. Maybe this is the first video you're ever consuming talking about this. Any way you cut it, things aren't the way they were 9 minutes and 23 seconds ago. They're different. You're different. I'm completely different. And you need to also remember that everybody, and I mean everybody, reveals themselves in time. I have, you have, the narcissist has, and so are other people. So, getting back to the thumbnail, why it always deteriorates for the narcissist, why they always fall apart, why they can't why they can never maintain a relationship. It's because they know that the inside of them, I'm talking about the narcissist, the insides of them, meaning their core, it's rotten to the core. Also, there's a huge void within them that must be filled by supply. Supply's running low. I already shared that with you. Also, they don't know how to regulate themselves because they are not fully developed. And when people aren't around them to steer them, to guide them, and to regulate them and do things for them, essentially to cover for them, then the narcissist is becoming more and more unglued. They're falling apart. They are deteriorating right before your eyes. This is taking place all over this planet. It's happening where I am, it's happening where you are, and it's happening everywhere in between. Why I'm sharing all these things with you is this. You are a person who was trapped in a cycle that you did not even know existed. You are a person who was lured into a web of manipulation. You were a person who, if you weren't as strong as you are, and thank goodness you are, maybe you're not here on the planet. But you made it, you're out, you're healing, you're focusing on yourself, and now you are either in or entering the third version of you. The third version of you is the strongest, most galvanized version of you known to humankind. With this newfound version of you, you're working on yourself, but you can now use your discernment. That's a word I don't use that often. You may ask, what is discernment? It's the ability to use your judgment, trust your instincts, trust your intuition, pay attention to red flags, embrace green flags, and understand that everything isn't how it appears to be on this planet. That is a absolutely precise definition. That should go in a dictionary. But having said that, your discernment is a superpower. This is one of the things you didn't have when you were trapped in the cycle. You were trapped in a fishbowl of abuse. The fishbowl was cloudy. In the fishbowl with you were other sources of supply, but you all were banging against each other, like bumping into each other, but it was pitch black in that fishbowl from the cloudiness, which is the narcissistic fog, and you had no idea. You didn't know that out of the fishbowl was the abundance. It was a beautiful period of life for you, just waiting for you. The narcissist never wanted you to think about the promise of tomorrow. The narcissist didn't want you to heal. They didn't want you to see behind the mask, and they did not want you to ever break the ties that they had placed upon you. But once you realize that that fishbowl is where you are no longer occupying space, you're now out in the abundance. And while you're out healing, other people are falling apart. Yeah, the narcissist, and truth of the matter, there are many other people who don't know what to do with the 24 hours they have in a day, or the 1,440 minutes in a day. Notice I said 444 and 1,440 minutes. I said it a couple of reasons, and some of you understand what I'm talking about. The whole key to life is to enjoy and to educate yourself on this experience. The narcissist doesn't want you to become educated, and they don't want you to enjoy a thing. They want to maintain control over you, and they want to destroy your life from the inside out or the outside in. And when they can't do that, and subsequently you're healing and you're getting very stronger, like I shared with you earlier, the third version of you, then the narcissist doesn't know what to do. They are scratching their head in a isolated cave, an abandoned mine, if you will, of toxicity. It's pitch black. There's nobody in there but them. Their cell phones, plural, are dying because two of them have no battery and the third one's running low on juice. And there's no one there to turn the lights on for them. There's no one there to guide them out of the darkness. There's no one there to pay their rent. There's no one there to pick them up from the airport. There's no one there to pay for their Amazon packages. There's no one there to regulate them. There is no one there. And this is the demise of the narcissist. This is how it will end for the narcissist, and they know this. The narcissist took their best shots at you, at myself, and at billions of us. Some of us didn't make it. Others are still trapped. You are out. I am out and I'm healed, and my hope is you're healing or you've healed. Any way you cut it, you can't go back to the dark days. You can't go back to that cold, freezing cold cave of abuse, of toxicity, where it's pitch black and you don't see the sunlight for days, weeks, months, years, or decades. That's where the narcissist thrives. That's what I termed the low vibrational state, and that's where they thrive. You have no business being there. You were lured into that cave. You were lured into that trap. You were lured into that web. Once you're out, you stay out. You place a huge boulder over that cave and you leave it the way it is. I'm not saying leave the narcissist in it. I'm just saying you leave the darkness in the past. That's what I'm sharing. And you begin to focus on yourself. You need to control what you can control. You need to understand that the narcissist will never change. And all they want to do is continue to spin webs of lies, webs of manipulation. They want to play mental jujitsu and mind games with people, and they want to have access to anybody, and I mean anybody with value. That's why once you get the wisdom, you need to close the chapter of the book once and for all on the narcissist. If not now, when? So everyone, that's the video. I hope you liked it. I loved doing it from the beautiful Carolinas. This is Andrew. Namaste. Have a great afternoon, evening, or morning. No matter where you are on the planet, you are not alone. I love you all, and I'll talk with you tomorrow. A couple quick things. One, the narcissist will continue to deteriorate. You, without the narcissist on your back, you're improving. I know for a fact you are. And eventually you will break the ties, the emotional, financial, physical, spiritual tie from the narcissist. As you're healing, you're getting clearer in your mind. The clearer you get, the less the narcissist matters to you. The less they matter to you, the stronger you get. The stronger you get, the weaker they get. The weaker they get, the more you realize that relationship was worse than you ever thought imaginable. That's why I create videos every day, to pay it forward and to help you get answers to the questions you're searching for. I love you all. Talk to you tomorrow. Bye, everybody. Bye.